What's up, guys? It's Toyhouze, and I am just in awe and so happy with all of the amazing Burning Crusade news this weekend. With BlizzCon 2021 in the rearview mirror, I just wanted to do a recap, a summary, so that, if you didn't watch the full hour-long interview or the developer deep dive or any of that, you can just get all of the information packed into a nice little package. So first up, I'm just going to talk about some of the most memorable rapid-fire changes that aren't necessarily related to each other, and then I'm going to dive into more specific topics. So just some things that have changed generally speaking. The developers talked about leatherworking drums will likely be modified. That's most likely going to be a nerf because they talked about how everyone having to go leatherworking for PvE really wasn't something that they wanted. So it's something that, they're probably going to go ahead and just change, probably nerf in that respect. The next thing that's really huge is for Paladins. Seal of Blood and Seal of Vengeance for both factions at level 70. Now this is a huge change. It's going to make Alliance PvE Retribution and PvP Retribution Paladins much better. Seal of Blood was sort of definitively better than Seal of Vengeance for Retribution Paladins, so getting that over to the Alliance side is definitely a really big deal. The justification is they didn't want to see everyone just go Horde because they know that Paladins are just better on the Horde back in 2007, so this is a great change, I think. It's definitely going to even the leveling field like they wanted to. So the other change is the summoning stones in Burning Crusade, something that I feel like many people probably forgot about, but in Burning Crusade, summoning stones were actually available, including at launch. So they're going to be there in the Burning Crusade Classic. One thing I want to note as someone who has played patch 2.4.3 on private servers is that you need to be within the level range of the dungeon in order to be summoned by the summoning stone and to start a summon. You can assist with a summon at any level, but to start it, you have to be within that specific dungeon's level range. And so what this really translates to is you can't summon your booster if you're getting boosted, and your booster can't summon you. So those are just two things. And, unfortunately, if you're just one level too high, I know specifically I was level 30 something and I wanted to do Nomuragon or something like that. I was like one or two levels too high, so I couldn't get summoned. So you have to be within that specific dungeon's level range. I'm not sure if they're going to continue to do this, but I think it's very likely. Okay. Fresh Classic servers. This was a question that was asked, and they said no. At this time, they have no plans for that. They really just want to focus on the release of TBC Classic and then possibly in the future. When it comes to layering, they definitely just want to make it so that as many people can play as possible. They don't want people staring at queue screens, and I think that's great. So layering will exist if it's needed. So I think it's going to be needed, and we'll probably see some layering in the Burning Crusade, like we did in Vanilla Classic. All right, next up is the Looking for Group tool. So this is a tool that was introduced in the Burning Crusade, and it didn't, auto join you unless you selected that option. It didn't really put the group together for you. But the thing is they actually want to really modify this tool and improve upon it. So people are kind of scared by this, but they wanted to reassure everyone it will not be fully automated like it is in like Wrath of the Lich King, where it teleports you to the dungeon. They definitely will not do that, they said, but they definitely want to improve it in some respect. So looking forward to seeing more information on this, and it's good to know that they're improving it. I personally love the TBC Looking for Group tool. It's just a way to see, who is looking for a group easily, and then you kind of reach out to them and have that conversation from there. Okay, so how will high population be handled? Burning Crusade is in a much smaller, continent compared to Azeroth, which is like 2 continents. So basically they have nothing planned. They actually love, and I agree, fighting over resources, mob kills, things like that. It's part of the game. They said they're willing to make changes similar to what they did with the Black Lotus change, but currently nothing is planned. Now, when it comes to class tuning, nerf this class, buff this class, we all know, like, warlocks, druids, they're amazing for PvP. Are you going to nerf them? So the answer is no. And so what's going to happen there is that the final patch of the Burning Crusade will be the version of Classic TBC, and they plan to keep it that way throughout all of the life of Classic TBC. Okay, now I'm going to jump into some specific stuff that is kind of a bit of a topic. So, spell batching, or the removal of spell batching. So, it's confirmed that TBC Classic will not have spell batching. And what this really means is, if two mages are casting polymorph on each other, they both get polymorphed because of spell batching, right? There's sort of a latency that exists with spell batching. So, that won't actually happen anymore. Only one mage would get polymorphed, whoever started casting first, however minuscule the advantage that might be, that the other one started casting first. Fireball initially would take you out of Vanish, even if you vanished at the same time as the fireball hitting you, or if you did it before, right? Because of that spell batching, both kind of go through. So basically, this is, in my opinion, kind of a great thing, both for like the rogue and for people who are quicker, right? I mean, if you can, vanish before something finished casting, this is just more to your advantage, and really, it's fair, and I think it makes sense. I think it's going to make rogues even better, though, and they're already really great in the Burning Crusade. So I'm really, really excited about the spell batching removal. Plus, it just makes the game feel more responsive, in my opinion, which is always a good thing. Okay, next we're going to talk about pre-Nerf raid bosses. So during an interview, they hinted that, pre-Nerf Muru was really hard. Spell pushback specifically, and they basically confirmed that they want to leave Muru in a pre-nerf state. What this means is likely we're going to see all bosses pre-nerf win the Burning Crusade. So this is really exciting. We're going to see hopefully some challenging experiences. I mean, the Burning Crusade was actually, in my opinion, one of the hardest like raiding environments is, specifically Muru. So really excited to see, if it actually has to be nerfed or people can do it. So excited about this change. I think they're really moving in the right direction there. A big one here is that Blood Elf and Draenei are going to be playable in the pre-patch. So this was not how it was back in 2007. So before, you'd only have access to them once the Dark Portal is open. But now, before the Dark Portal opens, you can start leveling your Blood Elf or your Draenei within the pre-patch, which is super exciting, giving you some time to try to get, level 58 to go into the Dark Portal with all of your friends. I think it's an awesome change. Now, the big one, phased content. So this is definitely tentative based off of initial and then the follow-up interviews. But in the first interview, they explained that phase 1 would be Karazhan, Gruul's Lair, Magtheridon's Lair, basically all the tier 4 gear raids. And then in phase 2, you'd have Serpent Shrine Cavern and Tempest Keep, as well as Arena Season 1. And then phase 3, you'd have Mount Hyjal, Black Temple, and Arena Season 2. Phase 4 would be Zulaman and Arena Season 3, and then Phase 5 would be Sunwell and Arena Season 4. However, they are considering moving all of the Arena Seasons up so that Arena Season 1 starts with Karazhan and have Zulaman not have a new season launch. So it would look like Phase 1 would be Arena Season 1, Phase 2, Arena Season 2, Phase 3, Arena Season 3, which would last probably the same amount of time, but Zulaman's going to be introduced with no new arena season, and then Sunwell being Arena Season 4, like it is. So they haven't finalized it, but they basically said they're thinking about moving everything up. There's a lot of changes that come with Arena, and I'm going to talk about some of those right now. So one is Arena rosters. Now, originally in 2007, the Burning Crusade, you could only have 3 people on an Arena team because that was your Arena team, for 3s, for example. Now, and for 2s, you could have 2 people. But rosters were eventually introduced, and they're going to bring that into the Burning Crusade Classic with a maximum of twice the size of the Arena team bracket. So for 2v2, you can have a maximum of 4 people, for 3v3, a maximum of 6, and for 5v5, a maximum of 10. Now, the way it works to get those Arena rating points each given week is that you need personally to play 30% of the games of that team. So basically, you used to have like personal Arena rating. Well, that they didn't necessarily hint at that. It's just 30% of the games played need to go to you. Now, I imagine this is going to really help Arena rating boosting. You're going to have the buyer just play, the bare minimum 30% of the games. Boosters get the rating high, and then likely that, that buyer will lose 30% of the games and get that Arena rating that they're purchasing, right, in order to unlock their gear. Now, back in 2007, you had to, get a certain rating to buy like pretty much all of your gear by the time you got to Arena Season 4. But Arena Season 1 and 2 did not have any rating requirements. So I'm interested to see how gear rating requirements are going to work, because they could absolutely change that. Speaking of certain ratings, how are PvP titles going to work? Now, the developers did talk a little bit about this because we don't have battle groups, because back then, they were limited by their servers. That doesn't exist anymore. So what they're planning to do in the Burning Crusade Classic is to take a small percentage of the top players region-wide and make those people gladiator. Before, it was really just like, a couple hundred out of a million people getting this title. So they really want to keep it very exclusive and keep it at a very small percentage across regions. So that's basically how arenas are going to work. I imagine it's probably just going to be just as hard to get gladiator as back in 2007, which, let me tell you, it was so hard. I didn't even come close. I only came close in like Wrath of the Lich King, and even then I didn't get it. So I've never gotten glad, but I hope to in the future. But enough about me. Another thing that is being changed is the paid character boost. So they're introducing a level 58 character boost, what they're calling the Outland TBC starting kit, right? Basically, you're going to pay real money, and you're going to get a level 58 character of the class of your choice and race, and you're going to have dungeon blues, which sounds great to me. I'm really interested to see which particular dungeon blues. I mean, that's pretty awesome if you ask me. And you're also going to have a level 40 mount skill, or level 30 in TBC's case, because TBC, being at the latest version of the game, you can learn how to ride a mount at level 30 instead of 40. We're also going to be limited to one per account, so you can only boost one character per account. You're not going to have any professions, and you also cannot use this on a Blood Elf or a Draenei for obvious reasons. Everyone would do that. Now, speaking of characters, they also released some information on transferring and copying your character. So basically, when pre-patch launches, you're going to log in, you're going to decide, do I want this to be a classic character or a TBC character? And then once you decide, let's say hypothetically you decide I want this to be a classic character, you're going to select that option. Then you're going to install the vanilla classic version of the game. And when you log in there's your character going to be ready to go. You're also going to see the character, hypothetically, if you chose another character to be transferred to TBC, you'll see on a classic that character is inactive, right? And then you can just click a button and you can pay to copy that TBC character back over to the vanilla version of the game. So basically, when you first log in, you make those decisions and then you install the vanilla classic version and then you go from there. I think it's pretty good. I think it's going to work just fine. And that is pretty much everything summed up as quickly as I could. Lots of information, obviously tons of stuff still to be revealed, and possibly more changes in the future. Last, they did not give us a solid date in terms of beta. They did confirm there would be a beta, or when the game will actually be released, but we know that both of those will be happening in 2021. They said, and I quote, that the beta is around the corner. Don't forget to opt in to the beta. You can opt in to that beta. I'll put that in the description below. But anyways, guys, super hyped about TBC. Hope you are too. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.